Section 3.6, Day 2, we're going to talk about how to graph things. So we already know how to graph things when they're in y equals mx plus b form. So what we're going to focus on today is if I give you something in point slope form, like both of these right here are in. And in order to graph something in point slope form, what we're going to do is convert it to y equals mx plus b. So for both of these, the steps are kind of the same. Y equals mx plus b doesn't have any parentheses, and the y is all alone. So that's what we need to do here. We need to get rid of the parentheses. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute. So we'll end up with y plus 1 equals negative 2x. And be careful here, you get a positive 4. And then the other thing I said was y is all alone. So let's move this 1 over. So we get y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now this looks like something we can graph. We're going to start with the y-intercept. So go up 3, make a point. And then our slope is negative 2. So remember, we can write that as negative 2 over 1, which means go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. You can make as many points as you want, and then all you gotta do is connect the dots. Same kind of thing for this next one. Convert it to y equals mx plus b first. So again, we got to get rid of the parentheses. That's always going to be your first step. So if we distribute and then get y alone, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides, we get y equals 2x minus 1. So remember, your y-intercept is always where you start, so we're going to start at negative 1. And then this time our slope is positive 2, so I want to go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Remember, you can always go backwards if you go down 2 and backwards 1, and they're still on the same line. So then the second part of today, we have to talk about pairs of lines. So there's 3 different things that can happen with pairs of lines. They can be parallel, they can intersect somewhere, or they can coincide. Coincide means that they're basically the same line, one right on top of each other. So in order to tell these apart, we're going to pay attention to 2 things when it's in y equals mx plus b form. First thing we're going to look at is the slope, the m. Now if it's the same, there's 2 possibilities. They could be parallel, or they could be the same line, one right on top of each other. If they have the same slope but a different y-intercept, that means that they're riding the same line, but just in different places on the graph. If they have the same slope and the same y-intercept, that means that we literally just graphed the same line right on top of itself. And then if they have different slopes, it doesn't really matter about the y-intercepts at all. If they have different slopes, they're going to cross some point in time. So I'm going to give you some lines, and they're going to start off pretty easy, but then we're going to have to do some rearranging to figure them out. So in order to determine whether the lines are parallel, intersecting, or coinciding, we need to get it in y equals mx plus b form. So these first 2 are both in y equals mx plus b form. So let's take a look at their slopes first. Slope of 3, slope of negative 3. Right here we can stop. They have different slopes, and because these are different, there's only one option. They have to be intersecting. Those are going to cross somewhere. And right now, I don't really care if they cross at a 90-degree angle. I don't care if they're perpendicular. We're just saying, do they intersect? Are they the same? Or do they ride parallel to each other? So now the next one, this first equation is in y equals mx plus b form, but the second one is not. So this one right here, my slope is negative 1/3. I gotta find the slope of this guy, and in order to do that, I need to make sure y is alone. So what I'm going to do is divide everything by 6. So this gives me y equals negative 2/6 is the same thing as negative 1/3. And 12 divided by 6 gives me 2. So now I can see that my slope is negative 1/3. So the slopes are the same. That gives me 2 options. They can either be parallel or they can be the same exact line. So then we turn our attention to the y-intercepts. 5 and 2. Now because those are different, these lines have to be parallel. And now the last one. Again, the first one is in y equals mx plus b form. So my slope is 3. But the next one, I got to convert it. And there's two different things I got to do. I got to move the x's over to the other side first. And I got to get y alone. So divide everything by -2. So I get y equals -6 divided by -2 gives me positive 3x. 10 divided by -2 gives me -5. So then take a look at your slopes. Slope of this guy is 3. So we got two options. Remember, they can be parallel or coinciding. So then we turn our attention to the y-intercept. Since both of them are -5, that means these are really the exact same line, and they are coinciding. Which means if we were to graph them, we would graph the same line twice. And that's it. So now you have the rest of the hour to work on the packet of worksheets that the sub can give you. Make sure you star or circle or do something if you have any questions, and you can ask me tomorrow. Have a good day.